Hello and welcome to Monza in Italy. Today's race is going to be a 25-minute race on the 7th of July 2024, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, real time, real weather, a standing start, refueling is allowed, and a default progressing circuit. Our opponents will be a maxed out JCW Mini Grid on 114 skill level, a 1.00 wet skill scaler, medium aggression, standard mistakes, and today we're going to be starting from 10th. So, without further ado, let's get trackside and let's go racing. That's an okay start there. We've not gained, we've not lost. Very evenly matched AI balance, isn't it? Very good. Just caught the inside curb a little bit on the left there, just threw the front end out a little bit. Needs to be a bit more careful there. I mean, they're racing very hard, aren't they? And there's not a whole lot of speed left in me. They're slowing each other up though, aren't they? And they're also then slowing me up as well. I don't want to get pushed back towards woods. No. if we can have a bit of a tow, we might be able to get Dixon before the first corner here. Bit neater that time. Oh. Their braking power's very good. So we're very good in the first chicane, and they're very good in the two right-hand corners at the far end of the lap. Okay. Opportunity. So West ahead started all of that. He went wide in the first left-hander before the back straight, and then was slow onto that. But positions are going to be very, very hard to come by, because it's just really, really close. It's really tight. they're fighting really hard up front. Need to keep an eye on that because they could easily get caught up. So good through those two right-handers, or I'm bad. I'm not sure which one it is. I can't hit them as consistently as what they can. That's for sure. A bit too fast. Oh, it's a bit too quick in then. Managed to recover it though. Really do with a bit of a toe. That's what we need. You have to watch out for Daniel behind me. Got a little push there from Daniel. Wasn't ideal. Just not quite in the fun zone, are we? Just a bit too far back. Come on, give me a toe. Just give me a little toe. Close. That was very close. Didn't quite commit on the brakes properly. Poor technique on my part there. So I braked a little bit too early and then ended up not putting quite as much pressure on the pedal. P6. Can we hang on to it though? held themselves up there, didn't they? Well, they've done us a bit of a favour there. They must have had some sort of altercation in the middle of that sequence. Oh, that's done us a massive solid, hasn't it? I'm not going to get those two sequence corners any better than that, and they've still pulled a gap on me. So yeah, can't do anything about that. Then we're a lot better in the first chicane. So yin and yang. Very close. Well, the way they're racing, they're going to do themselves out of a podium here if they carry on. Bugger. That's it, you two. That's going to get smelly, that, isn't it? Probably should have stayed out wider there. That was an opportunity there. I sort of let that go, didn't I? Not very clever racing, that. Balls it up as well. Got lucky there. Got one more lap after this. Whee! Too much curb, Andrew. You have to watch out from behind here. No way. Oh, impressive. Around the outside, that's really impressive. Hats off to you there, buddy. Well done. Missed my downshift. Ah! Balls. Ah. Tuck in, try and protect this third place. awesome. Wow, third place. I'm happy with that. Considering how close that AI was, how well balanced it was, I'm really happy with third. Get a podium out of that. And your move around the outside, chap, that was awesome. Well done. Well done. Right, let's have a look at the results, shall we? Let's skip the call down there. Right, so Bell got it in the black and gold car, then Collins in the red and white car, then us, followed by Porter, Bailey, Ellis, Dixon, West, my brother, Woods, Shaw. Yeah, so it's pretty good, isn't it? So lap time wise, we are, wow, crikey. So the world record is a 2 minutes 1.5 something, I think. So with the top 11 and 13th there are all, sorry, no, the top 13 are under that time. Although you do have the benefit of a slipstream, to be fair, so that's probably adds a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, right, let's get into the summary and let's get into it there, shall we? I'm very pleasantly surprised. I thought Monza was going to be too fast, too flowing. It's a Grand Prix circuit. It's not going to suit the JCW Mini in terms of its speed. But actually, it's produced a really, really good race. The AI balancing is very, very good. At no point did I really feel like I was sitting there just waiting for the straight sections to be finished. It just didn't happen. It was. It actually felt like it fitted the car quite nicely. And I should learn my lesson really, because I thought the same thing about Spa and I thought the same thing about Barcelona, and both of those also produce very good racing. So yeah, it's I think it's just a stereotype I've got in my own mind really, more than anything. But yeah, the racing side of things was very, very good. There was a slight imbalance between the player versus the AI. So the AI seemed very, very good in the constant longer corners. So these two right-handers, I know they've got famous names, but I can't think what they are right now. So these two right-handers, they're very, very quick through. And also the last, the long right-hander at the end of the lap as well, that takes you onto the start-finish straight. They're very, very good through there. And then we made our time back in the change of directions and the two chicanes really, but there was not. It wasn't a ridiculous difference, It was relatively subtle. It was it was subtle, borderline, just beyond subtle, but it did produce an interesting race, and I thought the AI behaved pretty well with each other, as they weren't knocking seven bells out of each other. I didn't think, although they were racing hard and they were costing themselves time. It was kind of almost it was realistic. It's what it's what I'd expect to see in this class of racing. I would expect to see cars coming back to the pits with a little bit of damage from hard racing. And that's kind of what I feel like I've witnessed in this race, which is really, really cool. So yeah, overall I'm really, really pleased. Now there was a couple of cars, when I looked through the lap chart, there's a couple of cars where they dropped down the order a little bit. So there was Dunn in the Fanatec sponsored orange and blue car. He dropped down a couple of positions at one point. I just wanted to have a quick look at that. And also Cooke had he dropped down a lot. So there'll be something interesting to find there, I'm sure. So let's go and have a look at those and see if there's anything that needs to be reported to Reiza. So we'll see you in just a second with those. So our first incident involves Dunn here. Now, we've seen this before. It's Very, very straightforward mistake. Simply locks up inside wheel and runs wide. So we'll just get that from the front angle, just get that absolutely confirmed. Just come round. So we can see his front wheel nice and clearly. And so we can see there his front wheel is locked up and his outside wheel is still turning. So yeah, we've seen this many times, and then just runs wide. Nothing major, perfectly normal and expected mistake from cars in this class. So next error comes from Cooke, which we'll get to in just a moment. So the only other incident I can really find is between Cooke here in the black car and Harrison in the white car. And that is, you know, a fairly typical incident you'd expect to see in this class. Let's have another look at it from, let's look at it from Harrison's chase view and see, no, let's look at it from Cooke's chase view and see how that would have felt. So let's knock it down to half speed. So he's coming up to the chicane. He's having a quick sneaky look at Hawkins. Harrison's then giving him a little tap on the left rear corner. Cooke's turned in. Harrison's then gone for a second bite and this time done a proper job of it and pitched him into the barrier. And then just carried on. Thanks, mate. See you later. So let's get a closer look at it. Kind of want to. So he's come in, little tap. Okay, so the little tap's all right, but then he's just gone in and he's actually almost accelerated in towards the apex. He's then also cut across the apex as well, I think, at the point of impact. So he's then, right, okay, let's go to Harrison's car now. Let's go around. Now, granted, Cooke hasn't really left a whole load of space, has he? But then at the same time, though, Harrison's not really far enough along there to really claim a corner. And then, yeah, just basically pitched him. I mean, you could argue, yeah, Cooke could have avoided it, but at the same time, the onus and responsibility really is on Harrison there to avoid that, I would say. Yeah, I could see how you could say that 6 one, half dozen of the other, really. But if I had to lay blame on any of them, I'd say probably Harrison more than Cooke. That's a shame, really, because you don't like to see that, especially when it ends up with someone being pitched into the barriers. It's yeah, that's not very nice. That it's a shame. So with my critical eye, I haven't really seen anything here that feels like it's worthy of reporting to Reiza, really. Everything I've seen, to me, seems pretty reasonable, pretty realistic. We've seen yet another incident where, we've seen Dunn lock up his front wheel and head onwards, and it's a car with ABS. That's the only weird thing I can see, but again, we don't quite know how the replay shows you these things. We don't really know if the AI has ABS as part of its physics model either. And also, at the same time, it doesn't really matter if it is or it isn't, because it's a mistake, and the AI needs to make mistakes, and it's a semi-realistic way of achieving it. So I've got no issue with it. If it isn't modelled in the AI, I've got no issue with it not, being there, because it provides a mechanism for Reiza to then be able to provide us the mistakes. So that's all good as well. So as far as Dunn's incident is concerned, and all the ones we've seen in previous races of similar nature, I'm okay with it being like that. The one with Cooke and Harrison, again, you would expect to see it. I've got no issue with that whatsoever. I don't feel that's worthy of a report. In fact, I think it's worthy of, a bit of a well done, guys. It's a proper racing incident. It's not just someone locking up and heading straight on every time. You do actually get it where they'll have a tangle and they'll have a proper incident with each other, so which is really cool. Yeah, and the AI balance is a little bit different. I might report the AI imbalance, but it will be flagged as a very, very minor thing, and it's certainly not going to be flagged as one that's like really far out of whack and it needs attention. It's going to be a case of, if you come across this, if you have time, then give it a go. Or if you're doing another AI pass on this circuit, you might want to have a look at this type thing. It's not going to be a look at this now, it's terrible, because it isn't. It's actually because it's providing really, really good racing, as you saw. Right, well, anyway, enough of my rambling. I shall leave you there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting. And until the next time, we'll see you later.